Okay, so 666, the number of the beast. A very, very, very commonly super emphasized idea among very religious people is that the 666 number is this mythical sign of evil. And somehow everything with 666 on it is of the devil, warning, so on and so forth. In reality, 666 is a misinterpretation of the number, miscalculation. It's actually the number 616, which was later mutated into 666. In the book of Revelations, the book of Revelations warns that let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast. So if you are religious and you believe in the Bible, if you understand the number of the beast, you should find it or count it. So that's the thing. In the book of Revelations, it suggests that the beast, not to be confused with the devil, has the number on its forehead. Now, the devil and the beast are two different things. However, after several hundred years of different types of devils, right around the turn of the first millennia, all the devils sort of got lumped together as this one singular entity idea in Christian mythology. So, it's a really flexible concept. I mean, possible translations of the book of Revelations suggest that counting the number can also be translated as to recon, to vote, to decide. I don't know what that means for your own personal mythology. There are literally somewhere in the vicinity of 41,000 different denominations of Christianity around the world. So, it is a very, very loose concept depending on your religion. The last letter of the Greek alphabet is not the equivalent of the English letter Z. You can essentially associate the letter Z or omega or the Greek letter sigma as representative of the number 6. Also, 666 is considered to be the number of man. I don't know if you want to consider that a sign of fallibility. You might want to look up this one character called Irenaeus for more information on this number and study his philosophy for your projects and whatever. And next up, we have the Codex Ephraemi Rescriptus. Codex Ephraemi Rescriptus. Codex Ephraemi Rescriptus. is a 5th century Greek manuscript of the Bible. And that's, I think, the oldest known manuscript of the Bible that I could find. And also a connection to the number 666 can be found in the Therion or the Telema. Therion is a deity found in the mythical system of Telema, which was established in 1904 by Aleister Crowley. This is New Age nonsense. As for New Age nonsense or quasi proto New Age nonsense, you can look up ideas that the numbers, the letters www may be interpreted as 666. By that logic, everyone who watches, wrestling, because the first two letters suggest 6 and 6, but the last letter could be considered as a disguise in some sort. You can have some fun with the WWE. I miss it being called the WWF. I really do, but not now. I'm just used to saying WWE. So the Latin letter W is formed out of the Phoenician letter Waw, W-A-W, whose value is 6. By that logic, www equals 666. Now, of course, connecting different letters who are associated with each other means that you are seismically enhancing the value, the potential connection to this number. And considering the fact that it used to be 616, then mutated into 666, and now now people are connecting www to 666. It really seems ridiculous. It just seems ridiculous. Some people have connected the www thing to the age of Aquarius. Now, the age of Aquarius is a astrological concept. If you've seen the musical Hair, you'll note that there is a song in there called The Age of Aquarius, and Mulder also did something about serial killers in the 80s with Chuck from Gossip Girl, and I didn't watch it. I mean, I've watched a lot of stuff, but Chuck from Gossip Girl being a serial killer, being hunted by Mulder, but not in an X-Files sort of way. It just doesn't appeal to me, It just doesn't. So the Age of Aquarius is not apparently a full stop kind of a thing. One astrological glow, one object glows a bit less relative to our position, and another object or set of objects glow more. So you don't stop an age of something and go into a next age because it's based on light and astrology. one age subsides and one age increases, yeah, if you think religious people weren't going to jump on blaming the New Age movement for devil worship, um, you would be very, very wrong. Another stretch for this concept, the whole three times one number concept. Another thing that you should note is the number 888. Now, we could go into talking about Asian culture and how the number 8 applies to Asian gambling and so on, but I just don't have the energy to do that. I cannot stretch this to an infinity. I have to limit my conversations about mythology or supernatural things down to a manageable level. So the number 888 is a natural number with both mathematical and symbolic meaning. You can divide the number 888 by 8 and also by 3, and you have 37. 37 times 3 equals 111, and also 8 is 2 to the power of 3. Just for any Christians out there. The number is considered to be Jesus' number because Christian numerology. There's some variant of Christian beliefs regarding numbers which associates the number to Jesus. I mean, seriously. Also, in terms of pop culture, obviously some movies have used the number 6 to, connect things to the devil. The Omen 2006 was released on June 6th, 2006 as an obvious marketing ploy. It was very unfortunate to note that we never got a Bond movie in 2007 because, 007. So, also, in 2005, the number 666 got turned into a sort of iris type thing where all the sixes were connected into a circle, and it looked like this twister of some sort on the eye of a girl who is called Christina and is the daughter of the devil. It was very Carrie-esque. Like, I hadn't watched Carrie when I watched that show, and I really liked it. It was a one-season show. It was a consequence, in part, of the Buffy finale. The second time Buffy ended. The first time it had ended on the WB, then it had ended on the CW. No, on UPN, sorry, and then UPN and WB eventually ended up fusing into the CW in 2005, 2006-ish. I think late '05 or sometimes '06, sometime during '06. It was definitely around the season 6 of Smallville. See what I did there? So, Christina has the number 666 in her eyeball, and there is a very great episode relative to what your taste is, but I found the best episode of the show to be an episode involving dancing, a dance-off competition, which I know sounds like it's gonna be really, really cheesy, but it's actually really good for character development reasons. I'm gonna leave it at that. Anyway, I don't know of any immediate references that I can remember concerning the number 116, but I do know that there is a TV show called 666 Park Avenue involving basically a quasi-haunted hotel or apartment building. It's an apartment building. No, it's not a hotel, it's an apartment building. Yeah, I remember it now. It involves a blonde girl and her boyfriend who's a brunette, and it's hard to describe. We never really got a resolution at the end. I mean, we got a revelation, but we never really got a resolution to the whole story. Obviously, the whole 666 thing will ad nauseum be used in Halloween type stuff until the end of time. Because okay, so also quick little side note about Point Pleasant. So in 2005, Point Pleasant and The Inside came out, and they were great, but they got canceled for various reasons. I maintain that The Inside would have continued on and beaten other profiler type shows if it was a little bit more family friendly. I find the Inside's non-continuity very unfortunate. I find it is a sign that, people just don't like marketing. They just didn't have the advertising market, If Netflix was a bigger thing back in '06, The Inside would have been one of the greatest shows ever, is what I'm saying. Both of those shows came as a result, in part as a result of Buffy ending. Immediately after Buffy ended, you see blonde girls showing up in people's works. Veronica Mars is essentially a replica of the Buffy formula. You have a vapid or somehow pure or innocent blonde girl who suffers through something traumatic and has to then rebuild herself And then you have the three boyfriends. Boyfriend number one is like the perfectest boyfriend ever, but destiny just sort of tears them apart. Boyfriends number two and three, not including the token boyfriend, because I'm gonna get to that. Boyfriends number two and three are the relatable boyfriend and the bad boy boyfriend. And the bad boy boyfriend either gets into a fight with the relatable boyfriend or is directly responsible for the breakup, or is in some way responsible for the breakup with the relatable boyfriend. And you can see that in Fringe, you can see that in Veronica Mars, you can see that in Once Upon a Time, you can see that in The Vampire Diaries, although Caroline, after several seasons, she finally went past the Buffy formula and ended up dating someone who shall not be named. But she did have three key boyfriends, though. And in terms of Fringe and the token boyfriend, it's not actually a token boyfriend, but the actress playing Olivia Dunham is known for being a lead in a lesbian movie, and there was an episode featuring an on-screen lesbian kiss between her and another girl. So that's the thing. In terms of what all this has to do with the whole number 666, well, Point Pleasant and the Inside stopped in 2005. In 2011, we got Revenge and Once Upon a Time. This, for me, is a sign of this thing that Hollywood does, where essentially every 6 years, Hollywood tends to recycle stuff. It's like there's a Hollywood generation of 6 years of awareness. If you look at Mulder, Neo, Evie, and Eddie Mora, that's The X-Files, The Matrix, V for Vendetta, and Limitless. You can see every 6 years there is some sort of philosophical type movie, or in the case of X-Files, a TV show that examines culture. So X-Files wasn't just big because it featured the Monster of the Week. You can find the Monster of the Week, in Buffy. It was unique because it examined the culture's relation to those monsters, to those creatures. There's like more than a dozen different types of monsters in X-Files, and every season you found one episode that continues the last season's trend, at least for the first 5 seasons. And then once you get past the mid-season 6 section of the X-Files, then, we got Mulder's resolution. Why would we continue watching when we know it turns out boring? Season 6, mid-season 6, X-Files basically ended and then just ran out of steam, is what I'm saying. But the point is, if you look at pop culture hikes, pop culture peaks, Not big spectacles, but movies which determine our culture's outlook on things. You have Scream 1996, you have Spider-Man 2002, you have Iron Man 8, and you have Guardians of the Galaxy 2014. Now, in terms of pop culture trends, we are looking at sci-fi things and team-up movies. Ensemble team-up movies. I know. In 2012, you got, Avengers, but it was a one-time thing, and Guardians of the Galaxy cemented the idea that the team-up, the universe movie, is the thing to follow. It was the cementing year for that concept, that it would stay on until at least 2020. And I predict that in 2020, there will be another peak for, some pop culture movie that's going to cement what's going to continue until 2026. I'm just saying Hollywood recycles things every 6 years or so. The end.